Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Senator Tester, Senator Moran, colleagues demand swift action to remedy the VA's misuse of PACT Act workforce authority. Great. So let's dive into that. This is officially an official news release on the U.S. Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs website, and we will see what the VA has been up to. It's always important to keep an eye on things and understand what's happening because, look, they work for us, and without us, they wouldn't exist, and it's good to know what to expect. So with that, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. All right, let's jump into it. Senators to VA. Quotation, while Congress will continue to conduct vigorous oversight and enforce congressional intent in these and all matters, accountable leadership cannot be legislated. VA must take aggressive steps to ensure transparency and accountability. That's pretty harsh. In a public facet, in an election year, all of that stuff. You got to wonder where is the VA going? What have they been doing? What has been the issue? What hasn't been the issue? Quite frankly, there's been many stumbling blocks, and I've shared them here. I'm not going to go over them all. So let's jump through this. This just came out about, 5 days ago or so, Thursday, May 30th, 2024, sharing it with you now. All right. Continuing their push to provide robust oversight of the Department of Veterans Affairs, Senate Veterans Affairs Committee Chairman John Tester and Ranking Member Jerry Moran, so this is bipartisan effort, are leading a bipartisan group of their committee colleagues to demand immediate action and accountability after VA misspent millions of taxpayer dollars. This follows a recent report from the VA's Office of Inspector General detailing the misuse of a PACT Act workforce authority to inappropriately increase the salaries of senior executives at VA central office in Washington, D.C. Quotation here, VA's flagrant misuse of recruitment and retention incentives intended to improve the provisions of health care and benefits for veterans by bolstering VA's frontline workforce is unacceptable and deeply concerning, the committee members wrote in a letter to the VA secretary. While the Critical Skills Incentive, the CSI, Critical Skill Incentive Authority from the PACT Act was intended to strengthen the delivery of health care and benefits to veterans by providing incentives to retain highly skilled rank and file employees. Okay, this is not the $150,000, $300,000 employees. This is your $60,000, $70,000 employees that can go make $80,000, $100,000 somewhere else, but instead they're working for the VA. They're looking for ways to keep those people employed at the VA so they could serve you, the veteran. But instead, the VA gave themselves raises, right, at the executive level. Ridiculous. All right, moving on. Let's see. The rank and file employees across the country, including human resources staff, police officers, and housekeepers in VA. The OIG report found that VA misused this important authority to provide monetary awards to certain senior executives. It's just so stupid. The use of this important authority to instead increase the salaries of executives in the central office is unethical, a violation of VA policy, and in direct opposition to the intent of Congress. And I would say sometimes, and look, I get it, all of you understand, sometimes the intent of something isn't always very clear. This seems like a very clear intent, just with the fact that it's a critical skill incentive. Really, you to pat yourself on the back and tell you that we can say that we are and give ourselves huge bonuses. And if I remember right, it was somewhere between $40,000 to $100,000 to each individual. It's just nuts. All right, so moving on, is in opposition to the intent of Congress, wrote the senators. Overall, VA improperly awarded 182 executives with that critical skill incentive payment totaling $10.8 million. The OIG found that some of the CSI payment recipients were involved in the decision-making process that led to the awards, go figure, and the senators underscored their serious concerns with even the appearance of ethical conflict of interest violations. I agree. These people are clearly not capable of being in the positions that they are. The senators continued, an essential component of any high reliability organization is fostering a culture and expectation where subject matter experts, regardless of rank, are able to and comfortably speak truth to power. And creating that culture starts at the top. This report must serve as the beginning of the end of these inconsistent management and oversight structures and an opportunity to strengthen the department. That was a mouthful. So, agreed. In addition to requesting VA swiftly implement the OIG's recommendations, including taking appropriate administrative actions for personnel involved in the process of granting CSI awards to the executives without proper justification, the senators also requested regular updates on the department's investigations and administrative actions against these employees, the recoupment status of all improperly awarded CSIs, a breakdown of all CSI payments to date across VA, and the justification paperwork for CSI awards for amounts greater than $30,000. The senators concluded complying swiftly with the OIG's recommendation related to accountability is just the first step towards righting this wrong and preventing similar wrongdoing in the future. There is more work to be done to regain the trust of veterans, VA's broader workforce, Congress, and the public. While Congress will continue to conduct vigorous oversight and enforce congressional intent in these and all matters, accountable leadership cannot be legislated. In an effort to regain the public's trust, VA must take aggressive steps to ensure transparency and accountability throughout the enterprise. The bipartisan letter was also signed by the committee's leaders, fellow committee members, Senators Murray, Boozman, Brown, Cassidy, Blumenthal, Tillis, Hirono, Kramer, Manchin, Sinema, King. All right, that concludes it. Look, here's my thought. Leadership has been a consistent focal point with all of these horrendous VA issues, whether it's the foreclosures happening to people because the VA pulled the plug on a program that was supposed to allow them to be able to take missed payments and put them on the back during COVID of their loan, whether it was pension recipients, those low and no income veterans who are receiving VA pension. Okay, this is a safety net program, very low income and no income type situations, and making them pay back, missing, first of all, the overpayments, then ripping it back out of their hands, the consistent and constant, I guess that's the same word, not same word, same meaning, the constant problems with technology that the VA's had, not to mention the horrific fumble with regard to the implementation of the PACT Act and not being able to take in all of the intent to files, system crashes, had to extend the deadline. I mean, it has been calamity after calamity with the VA, and it all points to leadership not addressing the P's, right? Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Just the basics are missed in these situations, and it is so sad because the VA employees and the veterans in which they serve are the ones taking the brunt of the problem, and it's horrific. I hope that Congress pushes and people are held accountable truly. So with that, let's conclude it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.